have to be actively engaged. You have to, every day is a new obstacle. Every day is something you haven't learned before.
We draw people's blood every day, and we process specimens anywhere from stool samples to nasal swabs.
It's always a new challenge, which I find exciting.
We have actually a saying in phlebotomy, which is, if it's wet and it's not yours, don't touch it. And so there's a lot of ick factors in our job.
Some of those reactions could be this patient is going to lose continence. They may lose their bowel and bladder control.
The first ick moment for me in my job was a young man that was having his blood drawn, and he was going into a reaction. So I bent down to try and get him to stay with me, and as I was bending down trying to talk to him, he decided to throw up, and he threw up all over my face.
They may pass out. They may go into seizure activity. That scares them to death.
When you have an infant or a very young child coming in to have their blood drawn, it is very stressful.
I've seen instances where a patient wasn't breathing, they weren't responding in any way, so they started doing CPR immediately. And while they're doing CPR, you have to get their blood. The doctors want labs on them right then.
When I'm able to overcome that kind of moment where it's really pressured and we have a real stressful stick or a very, very hard stick, it makes you feel really good about what you do.
You can't say you like poking people with needles every day, but I love helping people, ultimately helping them get better.
Phlebotomists work in two key areas, providing extraordinary and professional care to every patient and every environment. Inpatient phlebotomists work in the hospital, collecting specimens from patients in many different departments. Outpatient phlebotomists remain in one laboratory location, and patients come to them for specimen collection.
The hardest part of my job is trying to figure out what the doctor wants when he gives us a requisition. There's sometimes 30 different styles of that test.
My shift is the day shift at IMC, so I get up at 3 and I get to work at 4.
So we draw anywhere from 30 to 100 patients a day and process additional specimens.
Sometimes you're running around, like literally running to the next patient.
Our job requires a lot of detail, and we have to make sure that we are labeling and processing every person's blood correctly. We don't ever want to give somebody the wrong results.
Sometimes doctors want draws on the patient, a couple of times a day, and that's hard. It's hard waking people up that don't want to be woken up.
Safety is a top priority, and protective measures are always taken to protect both our employees and our patients. This may include simple measures such as using gloves, to full protective measures that include gowning and full cover respirator masking, depending on the patient's illness. Our phlebotomists provide care to everyone, regardless of the patient diagnosis.
I think the healthcare industry is evolving, and every day we learn something new or we have a new test that's introduced.
Well, I've been with Intermountain Healthcare for 26 years. They've been very good to me. You're in an organization where you can grow.
I want to get into nursing school eventually with my phlebotomy skills, and then hopefully get a bachelor's degree someday.
And those that come in and say, Doyle, I have a fear of needles. Well, we can work that through. The personality type of a person that's going to be a good phlebotomist is a person that can come in and show in the classroom setting that they have compassion.
It's being professional with the patient, but also being personable.
We're taking care of people, and we're taking care of people that are sick and that they're afraid and they've just heard bad news and that they're coming in terrified of a needle.
That person that they're dealing with is Intermountain Healthcare's customer, that person does have feelings, that needle is going into a real live human being, that they are dealing with somebody's life.
If you have at least a high school diploma or GED, are able to work in stressful situations, pay attention to detail, and can communicate in English, both verbally and in writing, consider an opportunity in phlebotomy. Intermountain Healthcare offers a benefits package that includes options for health and dental benefits, continuing education through our Education Assistance Program, and a 401k plan to help prepare for the future. Consider working on the Intermountain team and help us build an environment where physicians and employees can deliver the best in medicine.